What happens when commitments to non-discrimination are pitted against religious beliefs? That very situation is unfolding in the US Supreme Court. A web designer has refused to make a wedding website for a same-sex couple. This goes against the laws of the state of Colorado. The web designer's defense is that it violates her right to free speech. The designer is Lori Smith. She owns the 303 creative web design company. On Monday, she made this statement outside the Supreme Court.
After starting my own design studio, I was excited to expand my portfolio to design custom, unique wedding websites that celebrate the beauty of marriage between husband and wife. But my home state of Colorado made it clear that I'm not welcome in that space. And Colorado is trying to force me to create custom, unique artwork to promote ideas inconsistent with my faith and the core of who I am.
Her lawyers are saying that it is a matter of defending free speech, that it is the message she is being asked to present which is the problem. A message announcing the same-sex marriage.
Today, Lori simply asked this court to apply its long-standing precedent to protect the right of every American to choose what to say and not to say. And no one should be forced to say something they don't believe under threat of fines, imprisonment, and other penalties.
The lawyer also said that Smith provides website services to members of the LGBTQ community, services other than marriage announcements. The argument seemed to have been well received by the conservative judges on the Supreme Court. Remember, the court has a 6-3 conservative majority. The liberal judges, however, were skeptical. Sonia Sotomayor, one of the liberal justices, asked, I'm quoting, how about people who don't believe in interracial marriage? People who don't believe that disabled people should get married? Where is the line? If I disagree with them on race or disability, I can choose not to sell those people my website because it's my speech, ? The state of Colorado has an anti-discrimination law in place. Businesses cannot discriminate on the basis of gender, race, religion, or sexual orientation. But in 2018, the Supreme Court had weighed in on a similar case. It ruled in favor of a baker from Colorado who refused to make a wedding cake for a gay couple. The baker, Jack Phillips, was also represented by the lawyer now defending the web designer, Lori Smith. And then also, it was about free speech versus discrimination. So where does one really draw the line? And what happens if someone refuses to make, say, a custom birthday cake for a Jewish person, but they don't believe in celebrating the birth of a person from a different religion? Should free speech, but about discriminatory religious beliefs, be the deciding factor? Another liberal justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson, made an observation. I'm quoting again. Historically, opposition to interracial marriages and to integration in many instances was on religious grounds. This history lesson was not well received by one of the conservative judges. Justice Samuel Alito argued that there were honorable people who objected to same-sex marriage. Colorado's Attorney General is worried about the outcome of the case, about the floodgates that it could open.
Very concerned that if our side loses in this case, the court would open up an exemption that would make possible all sorts of professions, photographers, people make cakes, others who write books, to say, I'm not going to sell to someone based on who they are. The court has never recognized that exception, and to do so would threaten the core of our civil rights laws.
The 2018 Baker judgment was hard to apply in other cases, but the judgment in the latest case could set a precedent. The United States has a history of discrimination. It may have abolished slavery in 1865, but the Jim Crow laws, which enforced racial segregation, were enforced till 1965, the effects of which are still visible today.
this case, or Jewish Americans, or women, or anyone.
For more on these developments, joining me on the broadcast tonight is Philip Baldwin from London, an LGBTQ+ activist who is an author as well. Thanks very much for being here with us. What do you make of the web designer's defense that this is, after all, about free speech? And this is a free speech versus discrimination debate. What is your view on that?
Thank you very much for inviting me onto your TV show. I think this is an incredibly important topic, and I'd like to highlight two facets in relation to this. Firstly, I'm going to give you a little bit of background quickly about myself, in that I'm an LGBTQ+ activist and writer. I do campaign across a range of LGBTQ+ issues, from asylum to homelessness. But I also campaign a lot around faith inclusion, in that I'm gay and Christian myself. I actually sit on a body called the Church of England's General Synod, which is the Church of England's legislative body. So I'm a comparatively senior gay Christian. So I find it particularly offensive when I see Christianity used as a pretext for homophobia. And that is what I see in this instance. I see someone trying to misrepresent faith, to use it to undermine valid LGBTQ+ rights. In terms of my own Christianity, I would say that my freedom of religion or belief ends when it causes harm to other people. And I think a similar principle can be applied here. Clearly, we do need to protect freedom of speech, but that cannot come at the expense of protecting minorities. We need to protect people from different racial and ethnic backgrounds. We need to protect LGBTQ+ people. We need to protect people with disabilities. So this is very dangerous. It has implications not just in Colorado, but for the other 29 states in the USA, which have laws which specifically protect against this type of discrimination. Secondly, I also think we need to view this in the context of the recent Colorado Springs shooting, which took place on the 19th of December, the day before Trans Day of Remembrance. On the 19th of November, the day before Trans Day of Remembrance, on the 20th of November. So I think this is part of a wider attack on the LGBTQ+ community, which we're seeing in the USA and globally.
Right. I was just coming to that, since you mentioned that just a few moments ago. The 2018 Baker judgment was hard to apply in other cases, but this one could have far-reaching implications. Are you concerned that the verdict in this case could set a precedent?
I am very concerned about this. There have been a series of decisions from the Supreme Court which have come as a shock to many people around the world, and there are really grave concerns for LGBTQ+ rights in the USA. I stand in full solidarity with my LGBTQ+ siblings in the USA. We need to do everything that we can to protect LGBTQ+ rights, and this is a very dangerous step towards seeing those LGBTQ+ protections eroded. It might seem as if this is a very finely balanced case between free speech and freedom to express and and religion. But I think that is really misrepresenting religion and misrepresenting Christian beliefs. I think in this instance, it seems to me that religion is simply being used as a pretext for homophobia, and this is being used as a wedge issue to further polarize people.
All right, we're leaving it there for the moment. Philip, thanks very much for being here on the broadcast.
Thank you for your time.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.